Tiff and The Punisher, they won't back down. Fight for the children in every town. They are taking our kids every day. I try to make no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come it will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeves. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and The Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, goddammit. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up by thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and The Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and The Punisher warrior anthem. We cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. Our children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping.
If you're talking, I can't hear you. I can barely see you. Hi, everybody. I guess we're live. I guess Darren's frozen. Unless you all can hear him, I can't hear him. So I like the new picture that Darren did for us. I think it's awesome. Yeah, I like the shattered glass and everything behind it. So yeah, apparently Darren couldn't get on. Hello. If you guys hear funny noises, it's my cat behind me. I don't know what he's doing. Just please, just bear with me. So if I start laughing, or it's him. So I hope everybody's staying warm out there. I don't know what y'all's temperature is, but we're getting snow again tonight. So we'll see what happens. Let me open this chat up. Yeah, so I guess Darren wants to fire it up tonight. But before the show, I was telling Darren that I have multiple lawyers on my Facebook page. And they're friends, associates, whatever. Oh, there's Darren.
Hey, I made it back. Whew.
That's great.
That
So
was right at, oh, yeah, what were you saying?
You cracked me up.
Yeah.
So I was
Better
telling
late than
them
never.
that I have some lawyers on my Facebook page, and I was getting ready to tell them that one of them posted, if you all want legal advice, call this number. It's like $35. And the ones of you that are out here teaching the law, stop, because you're getting it wrong 99% of the time.
It's funny because it seems like the only people that are getting their kids home are the ones that listen to what we say.
Right.
Just saying. Big business is CPS, you know? It's very big business. You know, and they don't like to admit that this is what's going on. And you don't want us cutting into their monies.
Well, that's just too fucking bad.
Right. Because our idea is we want the kids to come home. That's what we want.
And that picture that you have behind us, I want that picture too, by the way. That picture that shattered the glass, that's what's happening right now with that whole system. It's shattering.
Yeah, they're getting attacked from all directions and they don't know what to do.
And it's not just Virginia, it's other states coming for them. West Virginia, Maryland. It's all the states coming for them because now people really truly believe what we're all the crazy nuts we're saying.
Mm-hmm. Peanut gallery over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's shattering. And you're right. They're running like fucking roaches when you turn the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
They don't know what to do. And, you know, their Christmas looks like their Christmas is going to get a little bit smaller.
Huh.
You know, because things are coming into play. I mean, you know, Virginia's kind of leading the way. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in other states too. Like you said, you got, Arizona's doing stuff out there. You got Arizona that's just completely getting rid of stuff. You got Texas is doing a lot of stuff. You got Garza doing a lot of stuff with this stuff. I mean, you got people out there that are really making a difference. So don't listen to just everybody out there either. Don't fall into that trap.
Yeah.
You know, just pay attention. There's plenty of news out there to catch right now that you can make your own assumptions and your own opinions on what's going on. And you can clearly see that CPS is crumbling. But what's not crumbling yet is that money, because as long as that money's there, they're gonna stay strong. I mean, you know, that they got to open checkbooks still, and until someone gets the balls to go start hacking into that, they're gonna continue to just fall out of ranks. But they're gonna come back and they'll fix it. They'll come back, they'll fix it. They'll come back, they'll fix it. You know, and I don't know. Are we gonna make them stronger? Who knows? But we're getting them to a point that they're having to break a little bit. They're definitely. I guarantee you that if we looked at the stats right now, which there aren't any, I'll bet you some bucks that there's a lot less child.
I'm also upset tonight because right before we came on the air, one of the girls that I'm helping was arrested today. Because I'm going to say this. I think it's because of something that I posted, even though I didn't say any names. And one of the lawyers said something to her and she said she didn't post it, which she did not. I posted it. And now I think they're retaliating against her. So I'm just waiting for a couple more phone calls to find out exactly what's going on. But we have been in contact with her lawyer.
Putting her in jail. And how long has it been since she hasn't seen her kid?
She hasn't had custody of that child since November. We're in February.
Right. And now she's getting charged with what?
From what I understood, felony neglect.
That'll be some curious stuff to pay attention
Yeah.
to. How do you neglect a child 5 months later after you've been in state's custody? Oh yeah, you do, because they force you to do it. You know, that's what goes on.
They're just mad because she won her last court date.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to I know that there was just a GAL out there that got that just got pinched for some pretty bad corruption.
Good. What state?
I can't remember. That's what I'm looking for right now. I don't know who this Gal Loof person is, but they're not a very nice person either. Guardian. What is Guardian at?
Lightem. There, and I can't even type that fast.
Well, someone's got to do it here.
I'd be all up on my Google. Google, what's this?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Looks like Georgia.
Oh.
There we go. Let's take a look here about what's going on with the
and Georgia's crumbling too.
Sure is. Let's see here. Let's share this right here.
Difficult.
Often go ahead.
Courts to appoint a special advocate to figure out what's best for the in between. But tonight, two moms say there's a gap in accountability for a role with such high stakes. Senior investigator Rebecca Lindstrom explains.
There has been a lot of emotional and legal harm caused by this sort of broken custody process.
Two moms fighting for custody of their children. A fight, they say, impacted by the same Fulton County guardian ad litem.
They have a lot of power with little to no regulation.
We'll explain their concerns in a moment. First, you have to understand the role of a guardian. For that, we went to Diane Woods, who helped write the law that governs the job.
We are to be as objective as we possibly can.
This is messy. I really don't want to do 911 again, but you're about to force me to do that.
Woods says guardians are usually assigned when parents can't work together. It is their job to research the child's needs and then advise the judge on which parent is best suited to meet them.
Can you alter visitation schedules?
No.
Can you mandate that a parent record their conversations with their child?
I can't mandate anything.
Which brings us back to why Jordan Massey and Raven Evans are so upset. They feel some guardians treat their recommendations as mandates, and when questioned in court, judges don't give them enough scrutiny.
The guardian sends an email to all parties, and she states that I am no longer to have my court-ordered visitation.
Evans lives in Louisiana. The decision from her child's guardian came just one day before her son was to board a plane for his spring break visit. The guardian did act on the advice of the boy's therapist, and her recommendation was later approved by a judge, but without a hearing, despite Evans' request to have one. 7 months later, a new judge questioned what happened.
Concerned about the length of time she's gone without seeing the child, how the emergency order was done.
Massey says that same guardian overstepped her authority in other ways, like showing up unannounced late one night for the first home visit. This is body camera footage from Sandy Springs Police after the guardian called 911 to complain Massey was being difficult. Massey says she just wanted to see some ID. Vicky had never met the guardian in person.
She didn't have on a lanyard or anything like that to identify herself.
Woods admits the system does lack accountability. There is no set process for how these evaluations should take place. While there is training required,
Recognition and assessment of a child's best interest.
there is no process to ensure that training is received.
Government doesn't want to have one more agency they probably have to fund.
Even so, she says guardians do the work because they want to make a difference.
If they go to trial, there's someone's to blame, and it'll be me or somebody in my role.
But what if one of those complaints is actually true? These moms say there is too much at stake to not have better accountability. In Atlanta, Rebecca Lindstrom, 11 Alive News investigates.
I can see why some parents are concerned. Is this the first you've heard about this in terms of a parent reaching out in the form of a complaint?
No, we have parents who reach out to us every few weeks complaining about something that the guardian has done in their case, whether it be the actions that they're taking or even the amount that they are charging. But this is the first time that we receive complaints about the same guardian. Admittedly, it is usually the parent who is not getting what they want that is reaching out. And I have to say, we are in no position to say who should have custody of these children. And even if the guardians in these cases did everything right, researching the concerns did expose a problem with accountability, and we really felt like that problem was worth discussing.
That guardian ad litem has such a critical role and really a lot of power if the judge just stamps off on a recommendation making it so. What kind of training is required for someone to have that position?
And that is concern that, if we're stamping off on whatever they say without giving them that voice. Now, most guardians are actually attorneys. There are some smaller counties that allow someone from the community with a background in child welfare or the law to serve as a guardian. Either way, there is a set list of concepts that they are supposed to know, like courtroom procedures, how to perform a child custody investigation, how to detect abuse, child development needs, and interviewing techniques, things like that. But there is no set training program or even a checklist to see if the person has been trained. Now, Diane Woods, the GAL that helped write the law, says she would like to see oversight treated maybe more like mediators.
Mediators have to have mandatory training. We have to register every year. They do criminal checks on us, make sure we're not criminals mediating. And there's some requirements and prerequisites, a lot of training for being a mediator in the state of Georgia, like I think it's over 40 hours, and I don't even remember. But it's intense. And every year you've got CLEs. So with guardians, that's not the way it is.
Now, to help standardize some of that training, Woods did create Georgia Gals to hold events and a conference kind of to teach some of those best practices, discuss common topics that are coming up in the courtroom. And the problem is that they hold an annual educational conference, but it is voluntary and there's nothing that requires folks to register, which is why they don't even know how many guardians there are in the state of Georgia because there is no registration process.
All right. I'm curious if most of these guardian ad litems are attorneys. One might think, well, I could go to the Bar Association to file a complaint. Maybe there's some recourse in that avenue since they're an attorney. Is that the case?
And I thought that as well. So that is the first thing that research, because I thought, well, maybe we could just defer these parents to the Bar Association and have that process follow out. But what I learned is that even though they are attorneys, the state bar holds no authority when they are working in this role as a guardian. Right now, the judge in your case really is the only person you can go to with your concerns. But in a case like even Evans, she had 3 different judges. She did request a hearing on the GAL's motion, and as you saw, the email exchanges that kind of went back and forth, the guardian just said, well, I don't really think that that's necessary. The judge's office sort of deferred to that opinion, and then they decided that the hearing would not be held. And so they thought that the next hearing was going to be a month later. So at that point in time, it might have made sense, yeah, let's just wait until the next month and then we'll take care of this. But court processes are constantly delayed. There's always something that comes up that's got to push it back. And in this case, that ended up meaning 7 months went by without her being able to see her son in person, and even her phone calls were impacted.
She reduced my communication to only twice a week, 15 minutes each call. And then she ordered that I pay for a communication app that would then record my calls with my son. And so that's where we are today. Not being able to see my son and not being able to talk to him.
2 hours a month of communication.
Yeah, and good with the math there. I think one of the other things that complicates this is that Raven was acting as her own attorney. And so when she's filing those complaints with the judge, it might look like from the clerk's office that this is just another mom complaining, but she's doing what an attorney in this case would be expected to do if your client had problems. So again, because of the way these court cases are set up, you've got a lot of room for just the guardian to make decisions that perhaps might be overstepping. Now, I will say, since I spoke with Raven, she has had a hearing. Her visitation has been restored. We're still waiting to hear, though, whether the judge is going to make her use that recording app during her phone calls, though. And again, Evans wants to know why she wasn't given the opportunity to push back before the order was signed by that judge.
We just have 30 seconds left. If accountability is the answer, how would you build that in?
I think that it kind of goes back to what we heard earlier, maybe with the mediator. Parents can request a new guardian be assigned if there is a major concern, of course, but they have to make the case that, things really need to change and that this isn't just a parent who is upset about what is going on. Again, statewide training courses, they want oversight, and they want clear processes so that families who do feel like there's an issue have a way that they can know in advance to express that concern.
A really important conversation. So many families, children here caught in the middle. Thanks so much, Rebecca. If you have something that you would like Rebecca and our team to investigate, call us at 404-873-9111 or email us at investigates@11alive.com.
Woo! Lord Almighty, what'd you think of all that, Tiff?
Well, she only got her visits back because she probably told him that she went public and they knew they were going to air it.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, 'cause they were pretty much damn well telling her she wasn't going to have anything back.
Yeah. And see, that's the problem.
Man, well, you know what? We got to... Right? It is. But the L's are given too much power. Now, she said at the beginning there that she couldn't do all that stuff that we hear so many times that they are doing.
Yeah.
We hear all the time how these GAOs are making their, they recommend that these cases, that they lose their visitation, that they do all of this, they cut down on this, and then the judges go for it. That's ridiculous. But we got Lewis Ewing back here. Maybe we should ask him how he feels about.
Yeah, bring him out.
Bring him out.
He's the next runner-up.
Mr. Ewing, how are you, sir? We almost thought we were going to go seamlessly.
Uh-oh.
We'll get him. He'll be here. That's right. Give us our liberties or give us death. Forget it. Nope, we don't have you yet, Lewis. Microphone button down there at the bottom. Select the right mic. We try for this. Did you see Dr. Death's in the house? And he said, how do you know CPS worker is telling it, you know, what did he say? He said,
well, I told him he had to prove it, and he said he's got the transcript. So that sounds like a trip to federal court to me.
oh, I told them their mouth was moving.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Right. Man. Lewis. Oh, I almost could hear him, I feel like. Do you see the little thing on the bottom there with the microphone? That might be your selection point that you might be missing out on, or go to the settings bar. All right. All right. Yeah. Call me up. Oh, yes. No video, it says, because it's not allowing you to do that on there. How about this? How about you stay there, but call me on my messenger from your phone? Then your video can be on. It should work. I probably should just get the hotline number working, and then that would be much better. Would you guys like to have a call-in number here so you could call us in and talk to us? I mean, at least he looks good. You know, he's a dapper-looking fella.
He must hear you because
Nice
he
hair.
started laughing.
Can you go to federal court when you're on appeal? Well,
I
you
don't
can go-
think so. I think you have to be in one court at a time. But you can look it up. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that if you have a federal, well, what are you going to federal court for? What are you trying to go there for? Whoa. And that one didn't work either because you got nothing on there, Lewis. It's got it. It says that you're ready to rock and roll, man. So it's got to be just a setting on you, microphone. Hey, what's your microphone? I can control this right here. Logitech Brio, is that your microphone? Or is it the Realtek Audio? I think I can get this for you, Lewis. Try that. Talk to us. No,
Is the microphone on?
Oh, good one. How about now? So I can see your microphones. Scarlett Solo, USB. Ooh. Requested guest to change microphone to microphone Scarlett Solo USB. Well, that's nifty, Tiff. I can control the microphones now.
Well, that's good.
We just got to make it work. Or is it to be the Logitech one? How many microphones do you have, Lewis? All right, here he is. Lewis, how are we, buddy?
Yeah, let me turn off the volume on this thing.
All right.
Okay, so there's no echo now, right?
Right, we're good. Tiff, can you hear Mr. Ewing?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Let me turn him up a little bit here. Yeah.
So you get to see two of me now.
No, well, we just got one of you here, but we're good. Yeah, I'm looking at you down here, so we just got one of you up on there. So that's cool. So we're good.
As to the guardian ad litem question, to me, the guardian ad litem thing is 100% illegal. It's a violation of your child's Sixth Amendment right to counsel.
Right.
And in some states, the guardian ad litem is actually an attorney. But that's the first question every parent needs to start out with when they're in court. They need to say, well, Your Honor, this guardian ad litem, are they an attorney who's a member of the bar, yes or no? Now, in the states where they will say no, you need to say, well, Your Honor, my child has a right to have the appointment of counsel pursuant to the Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. and also the similar provision under our state constitution. So there's two constitutional rights, a state constitutional right to counsel and a federal constitutional right to counsel. Now, in some states, the guardian ad litem is another attorney. You say, well, okay, Your Honor, you say this guardian ad litem is an attorney who's a member of the bar. So now I have another question. This attorney that you say is a member of the bar, the guardian ad litem, is he or she representing my child in his or her capacity as assistants of counsel under the Sixth Amendment and also the state constitution? Or is he or she representing my child in his or her capacity as a guardian ad litem? Okay.
All right.
You're going to hear the judge's asshole pucker. Okay. Okay. He's going to slam his gavel. He's going to declare a recess, and he's going to run back into the judge's chambers, and he's going to be thinking, who in the hell's in my fucking courtroom asking me these kind of advanced legal questions? Because this is a huge scam. The guardian ad litem is the enemy spy. They're the enemy spy for the court. They ask your children questions. They interrogate, interview, and ask your children questions out of your presence and without your attorney's presence. That violates 18 U.S.C. 5033. So if all you folks send me an email to rcwcodebuster@gmail.com, I will send you my flyer, 18 U.S.C. 5033, invoke your child's right to remain silent flyer. Now, an attorney is going to try to lie to you and say, well, that only applies to criminal proceedings. Okay, this is half true and it's half false. Because what they're doing is they're using a civil setting to ask your children criminal questions. And that could be used against you in a court of law, potentially, depending what they ask them. So you do have a right to invoke that. And also, if you cite Rule 2 of the civil rules, they've combined law and equity into one form of action called civil in all 50 states. Look that up, Rule 2. There shall be one form of action, and that should be called civil. They've combined law and equity into one form of action called civil. If you read in the same sections in your statute books or your court rule books, now some states use a statute, other states use a court rule, some states use both. It's also going to say all forms of criminal pleadings were abolished. And that's like, what? They charged me with drunk driving and they charged me with drug possession. And what does this mean? All criminal pleadings have been abolished. Well, this is advanced legal stuff, but let's just get back to the guardian ad litem stuff. The guardian ad litem is the enemy spy for the court. The guardian ad litem is also the enemy spy for CPS. Mm-hmm. So whether you're or not, your guardian ad litem is or is not an attorney, okay, even if they are only representing your child in his or her capacity as a guardian ad litem, which means they're violating all your child's rights to assistance of counsel under the state constitution and under the Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. So all the parents need to demand that their child be appointed counsel. Now, some states are going to tell you, oh, well, we don't appoint counsel until the TPR hearing. Now, there's a big trick here, folks. Okay, there's 3 levels. Okay, whether it's abuse, sexual abuse, negligence, or dependency or abandonment. The main thing they charge people, they start off with is a petition for dependency. Well, if they find the child dependent, boom, they're not telling you you have the right to appeal that. The second stage of the proceeding is what's called a disposition of the dependency. Again, they're not appointing you or your child a counsel at the disposition of the dependency. They're not doing it. Mm-hmm. They only do it to the TPR trial. Now, here's another trick. They've made it an automatic rule, and they put it in some states, they put it right in the statute of court rule. You can't challenge the finding of dependency or the disposition of dependency at the TPR hearing. See, because they're afraid that if you uncover some fraud or perjury at the earlier levels, well, it's too late. You didn't object when you had a chance at the dependency or the disposition of dependency. This is unconstitutional. And this is part of my Operation Greylord project, which, by the way, folks, I'm going to tell you, I'm the only person in the United States that's come up with an actual plan. I've identified the goalpost. Where's the goalpost? All these groups, they're wasting your time. Let's go on a march. All the groups have done marches. Now, let me, before I go on that, let's go COINTELPRO. I want you guys to think about this, COINTELPRO, and then I'll talk about what the groups are doing that isn't accomplishing anything. COINTELPRO is an offshoot of the FBI and the CIA. Their job is to infiltrate all the patriot groups, freedom groups, white supremacist groups, any type of anti-government groups, sovereign citizen groups, state national groups, people who fight the federal income taxes and property taxes, but they've also infiltrated the family law groups. I actually believe that many of the so-called family law advocates, I believe a lot of them are undercover CPS social workers, and I believe a lot of them are undercover COINTELPRO agents. And the number one job of COINTELPRO is to keep all the groups divided, conquered, and fighting amongst each other. Okay, I first got involved with the family law groups in 1999. In 1999, I wrote 2 flyers. The CPS cannot search your house without a warrant flyer for all 50 states using your state statute, your state constitution, and the federal constitution. My CPS cannot search your house without a warrant flyer contains the very best U.S. Supreme Court decisions regarding the cops, a county sheriff, nobody, a CPS social worker, guardian ad litem, they can't come into your house without a warrant. The holding case on illegal searches is a case called Payton versus New York. Look that up, Payton versus New York. But if you just send me an email to rcwcodebuster@gmail.com, I will send you that flyer for free. It's going to be for sale soon, $100 on the website, but for free for all members of my Operation Greylord project. But this 18 U.S.C. 5033 Invoke Your Child's Right to Remain Silent flyer, a lot of times the county sheriffs, when they come to your house with a CPS social worker, you could tell the social worker, well, I need to see a warrant. The CPS social worker is going to lie to you and say, I'm CPS, I don't need a warrant. And then you're looking at the sheriff behind them and he's just shrugging his shoulders like, yeah, she's a social worker. Okay. And then they're tricking you into believing, well, the sheriff didn't say she couldn't search, so therefore she can search. And then a lot of times the social workers will threaten you. They'll tell you, well, I have another CPS social worker at your child's schools right now. And if you don't let us search your house right now, I'm going to call the social worker and tell them to pick up your kid. They'll lie to you. They don't have an emergency pickup order or anything, but they will lie to you. That's what they'll tell you. So now you let them in. And this is what happened to a couple in California. Okay. They found a meth pipe in the house. Well, unfortunately for CPS, they picked on the wrong Mexican family that had a lot of money. Okay. And this was a big case back in 1999, 2000. I forget the name of it, but it's in my flyer. Folks, I read too much case law to remember everything about everything. Okay. But you ask for my flyer, rcwcodebuster@gmail.com, AOL.com, yahoo.com, and protonmail.com. It's rcwcodebuster. I'll send you these 2 flyers for free. But I wrote my 18 U.S.C. 5033 flyer out of this case, and this is an amazing case. It was a big deal. It was all over the radio and the television. Okay, this case went to the 9th Circuit. Okay, they had ruled, and you won't believe this, they ruled in the parents' favor. Okay, and literally, when I was hearing about this, and they said the trial is going to be taking place tomorrow, and so right time I called the court clerk. She said they're too busy to. But I said, well, do you have any messenger services that you allow to come in and make copies of court files? And so she gave me a number of a company. And I called into that messenger service, and they said they were booked, but if I paid them extra money, that they would go in and get a copy of that file. So that next morning, first thing in the morning, the process server called me up and said, the court clerk wants to know why you want this file and who are you? And I told the court clerk, look, I'm a federal lawyer. Here's my federal bar number. I'm also a tribal lawyer, but I have a couple of cases right now where I have my Indian tribal clients. I really need this information for my Indian tribal clients. And so she was satisfied with the fact that she got my bar number. So she approved the guy to make copies of the file. So this guy makes copies of the file. So later in that day, several hours later, it came out in the news on the radio that they just ruled in favor of the parents. And you're not going to believe this. They ordered the case unpublished and sealed. Literally, wow. My process server called me up on the phone, and he said, I just barely crossed the street. It was like almost impossible because the traffic here is really bad. And he said, I just loaded the file into the trunk, but I see that the court clerk and the bailiff is running down the steps screaming at me to stop. Seriously. Okay, and I told him, leave. Pretend like you don't see him. Leave. Okay, so the guy drove off, and he sent me the file. And this file was about 9 inches high. Okay, it was a huge file. Okay, so in between working on other clients' cases and whatnot, I would say over the next 3 to 4 to 6 months, every time I went to the library, I pulled every case that was cited in that file, and I narrowed it down to the top 3 cases. Okay, so I got my hands on a brief that ruled in favor of the parents that the CPS violated their rights by interrogating and interviewing their children out of their presence, which led to the discovery of the meth pipe.
No kidding.
That's in my flyer, and I give that out for free. Okay, so you guys need to keep these 2 flyers, laminate them. They're 2-page. It's a 1-page double-sided flyer. Okay, so if you know how to work your printer, when I send it to you, just run it through your printer again and convert them into a 1-page, double-sided, single-page flyer, and fold up a copy. Keep it. Have your kids keep it in their back pocket, in their lunchbox, in their jacket, their coat. Also, keep a copy laminated with both sides, taped to your front door. Mail a copy. Mail a copy, certified and registered receipt mail to the CPS, social worker, and whatnot. And when the sheriffs come to the door, have at least a half a dozen sets, because sometimes if they're really anxious to get your kid or search the house, they're going to have 2 or 3 cop cars there, especially if they're planning on taking the kid. And there's only one time in the last, when I put this flyer out, 1999, 2000, there's only one time in the last 7 years, my flyer didn't work. It's for a lady in North Carolina. Her name's Christine Alden. Look her up. She's in North Carolina. They went and applied for a warrant. And so they kicked in the doors and they swatted her. And then unfortunately, she didn't have money to hire me. But I was able to, comp her some. She paid a small consulting fee, part of the consulting fee. So I comped her enough paperwork to prevent them from being able to terminate her parental rights. They still have not terminated her parental rights, and she's still fighting them. And she's trying to save up her money in hopes that she can hire me. But, kids, the problem is her kids have aged out now, so there's another problem.
Right.
But they're still in the custody of CPS because they're autistic. So since they declared them to be special needs child, they're still legally being treated as a child. So she can still fight for them, even though they've aged out. The problem is they're a special needs child. So it's kind of like you're still a child.
Yeah, well, that's big bucks for them, man. That's huge money for them, the autistic children.
But the guardian ad litem statute, that's going to be part of my attack on Operation Greylord, on the same basis that the entire family code is 100% unconstitutional. Okay, if we have 3 branches of government, I want you folks to think about this. These are arguments that nobody's ever raised against CPS. Nobody in the family law groups has the knowledge of the law to raise an argument like this. 27 years, I've watched this family law movement move nowhere. They haven't moved a single inch. But back to what I was saying about COINTELPRO, the number one job is to keep all the groups divided, conquered, and fighting amongst each other. I'm actually a member of hundreds of groups. There's mothers' rights groups, fathers' rights groups, stop parental alienation groups, stop forced adoption groups, stop medical kidnap groups, equal shared parenting groups, split custody 50-50 groups, domestic violence groups, domestic violence survivor groups, live beat dads, deadbeat dad groups, and every type of fight CPS group or stop CPS group. I'm a member of hundreds of groups. Now, some of these groups have thousands or hundreds of members. Some of them have chapters in every state with hundreds or thousands of members in all the groups. And there we go. All the groups are divided, conquered, and fighting amongst each other. Okay? Now, everybody says we all need to work together. And here's what I'm telling all of you folks. You could take the leaders of every single one of these groups and get them all to work together, and they wouldn't accomplish a goddamn thing because they don't have the legal knowledge and they don't have the legal experience. They cannot lead the way. None of them. Not a single one of them. Okay? You can call me a bragger or arrogant, and I tell everybody, do not mistake confidence for arrogant. Okay? My confidence is based upon a track record of winning cases for the last 27 years. You're talking to a man now or listening to a man who's beaten the IRS. IRS is the real boogeyman of this criminally corrupt court system. I've beaten the SEC, okay, in major security violation cases, and I've also beaten the DEA in major drug bust, okay? In 2004, I beat the largest multiple felony count prosecution for manufacturing marijuana in the entire United States ever won is here in Washington State ordered my case, my client's case, my friend's case, to be unpublished and sealed, which means nobody's getting copies of that. And I'll give you the case number to prove it. I'll send you a list of testimonials showing you cases that I've won all over the United States. You could call up the Snohomish County court clerk and ask them, is this a real case? And give them the name, State of Washington versus Kurt Ronald Riggin. Okay. And I'll give you the case number. You can call them up and say, is this a real case? And then she'll say, well, let me get that name again. And let me get the case number and read the case number to them. And she'll say, well, hold on a second. I'll go check the computer to make sure. Most of the court clerks know about it, but, in case they have a new clerk that doesn't know, because this is a 2004 case, it's an older case. So they'll come back and say, yes, that's a real case. And yes, it was dismissed. And you say, well, I'd like to order copies of the file. And she's going to say, I'm sorry, the judges have ordered this case to be sealed. And I laugh at that. And everybody gets mad and calls me back. They can't seal the case. I go, you're not touching those briefs for less than $75,000, $60 at the lowest, depending how many plants you got.
Right.
I don't care if you got 50. I don't care if you got 50 kilos of cocaine. I'm going to beat it. But we'll talk about that on another day. Okay. And for you parents who don't want to know about drug cases, well, let's think again. How many of you parents have lost your kids because you tested positive for drugs? I'm the real reason why they legalized medical marijuana. I started with Oregon first, Washington second, Colorado third, okay, recently Florida, okay, and about 20 other states, the government has legalized medical marijuana, because I have a flyer called an ultimate user flyer that puts 2 state statutes side by side with 2 federal statutes that says that it's perfectly lawful and legal. I don't care. You sovereigns want to say, oh, it is lawful versus legal. Okay, you guys don't even know the difference between lawful and legal. So my ultimate user flyer is both. Okay, and it shows you the 2 statutes, state and federal, side by side, that shows you it's already been legal since the early 1970s. That's right. Actually, since 1973, marijuana's been legal. And so some smart-ass attorney said, what are we going to do if everybody finds out about Mr. Ewing's flyer? We're never going to make any money, selling marijuana. Well, let's make the medical marijuana license or authorization card cheap enough so that everybody will buy it. And then we will be everybody's one and only drug dealer, and then we can tax it. Mm-hmm. And we'll make lots of money from taxing marijuana. Mm-hmm. I got news for you folks. If I wanted to shut down every single marijuana store, I could, because guess what? It's a felony crime to tax medicine. You can't tax medicine.
Right.
That's illegal as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So the cops know this. The prosecutors who know this. Oh, the greedy attorneys, they won't allow you to open up your own medical marijuana store unless you have an attorney who's a member of the bar on permanent retainer. So as long as you pay off the mafia, and that's what Irwin Schiff used to call it, the federal mafia. As long as you pay them their money, they don't care if they're breaking the law, because we're controlling the law. Okay, so the guardian ad litem statute is unconstitutional. I'll go into that after I finish the thing on COINTELPRO. I'm jumping back and forth a little bit so you guys can understand what's going on here. Okay, like I said, the number one goal of COINTELPRO is to keep all the groups divided, conquered, and fighting amongst each other. Okay, the number two goal of COINTELPRO is to keep all the groups on the same losing path, doing the same stupid shit over and over and over again. Yeah. They're playing a broken record. Okay, you're beating a dead horse. Marches have never returned a single child home. Rallies have never brought a single child home. Protest. In the last 27 years, I've only seen one protest bring one child home. And that's my friend Stu Peters did a shout out on the Alex Jones InfoWars, just like he did for me when I got hospitalized when they tried to kill me. He saved baby Cyrus. And I give sole credit to that, regardless of all the people that had protesting. Nothing happened until Stu Peters did that. Well, I'm sorry, folks. Don't start calling Stu Peters and flooding him with calls, because he cannot use that time for everybody's child. He can't do it. It's not possible. Right. Okay. Yeah. But that's the only time in 27 years, one time when a protest caused a baby return home. Baby Cyrus. I think it was Idaho. Baby Cyrus. Yeah. Now, the other thing that's never brought a child home, speaking to county council meetings, total waste of time. These people speaking at county council meetings, me, I, look at me, I'm on Facebook, you need to donate money. Okay, well, then what next? Where's the goalpost? Marches, rallies, protests, signing petitions, speaking at county council meetings, speaking at city council meetings, speaking to your state legislature, speaking to Congress. Where's the goalpost? Now that you finished speaking at the county council, what's next? Oh, we're going to go speak at another county council meeting and ask for more donations. Okay, well, you spoke at a second county council meeting, and now you've got more donations. Now what? Where's the goalpost? What's next? We got to go speak at another county council meeting and ask for more donations of money. No, stop. Why are you asking for donations of money with this bullshit where you're just posting more videos of yourself? Okay, that's Jessica Saxton and Tanawa Downing. Now, I'm not really blaming Jessica Saxton. I discovered that she's the boyfriend of Tanawa Downing. You folks don't know this, probably. Tanawa Downing is a convicted felon. Why are you taking legal advice from a convicted felon? Period. Why?
Right.
Okay, so he's conned his girlfriend and other people into believing he knows something about the law. Well, at best, he could be called a jailhouse lawyer. Okay, but the guy has never won a case of significance in any area of law. That's right. I call him grasshopper, beginner, sovereign citizen Tanawa Downing. A sovereign citizen, and you know, you guys are gonna laugh at this. I make fun of this. The sovereigns get mad at me for making fun of this. Mr. Ewing, there's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. You can be one or the other, but you can't be both at the same time. And like, I'm doing the imitation of Trump, making fun of a retard, right?
Right.
That should piss them off. That should piss everybody off. Okay. And I say, congratulations. You just proved to me that you're a dumb fuck sovereign citizen.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Because guess what? You cannot be sovereign in this country. Nobody is sovereign. Thomas Jefferson said it best. There's no better slave than the slave who thinks he's free. But you're not sovereign. You don't own any land. And I challenge any of you out there who thinks you own your land, you paid off your mortgage, you paid off your trust deed, and like, do you really trust attorneys who wrote the trust deed? That's ridiculous. They wrote the trust deed to get rid of mortgages because it was taking them a year to 2 to 3 years to foreclose your house and kick you out of a house if you had a mortgage in the old days. Well, all the attorneys got together and said, well, we got to get rid of the mortgage because it's taking us and the bank's too long to steal these people's houses. We need to be able to steal the people's houses faster. Okay, I became a lawyer for the purposes of being able to, Sun Tzu, the art of war, know your enemy better than they know themselves. I had to join them to figure out what they're doing so I could fight on you guys' behalf. It has to be a lawyer that takes on the system. It has to be an attorney, but it has to be somebody that's not subject to being disbarred by them. I can't be disbarred by the Washington State Bar Association because I've never been barred by them. They cannot disbar me. I've actually been authorized to practice law. Okay, so here's the thing. You're not sovereign because you don't own land. I challenge all of you, stop paying property taxes and see how long it takes for the government to come remove you from the land because it doesn't belong to you. So there, right there, I proved you're not sovereign. And money. We don't have any money in our wallet. Okay, that money in your wallet, Title 18 U.S.C. Section 8 defines a Federal Reserve note as being an obligation of the United States. Okay, an obligation is basically evidence of a debt, an IOU, a promissory note. Okay, 31 U.S.C. 3124 says obligations of the United States are not taxable by the state, but that Federal Reserve is not money. Okay, it doesn't even rise to the elements of what's called a negotiable instrument under Article 3 of the Uniform Commercial Code. It's not. A Federal Reserve note is not even a negotiable instrument. It's an IOU. It's a promissory note, but it's not money. Okay, so you're not sovereign because you don't own any land and we don't have any money. Now let's get to the citizenship thing. All you sovereign citizens and state nationals, they all boo-hoo and whine. Mr. Ewing, why are you picking on state nationals and sovereign citizens? Why are you picking? I had somebody write that on my timeline. Like, I don't give a fuck if I hurt your feelings. This ain't about you. This ain't about me. This is about trying to save the kids. And you guys have infiltrated the family law movement, are teaching them a bunch of bullshit that's not only going to not help the parents, you're going to put them in a worse situation than they are. You're giving them false hopes by teaching them fraudulent legal arguments by appearing at a county council meeting. I'm here under Rule 17 or Rule 20. You look like a dipshit. There's no such thing as appearing at a county council meeting under Rule 17 or Rule 20. There's not even such a thing as appearing in a court. Look it up, folks. Rule 17 is not for the appearance of even appearing in a court, even if you're in a real courtroom, which Tanawa Downing and Jessica Saxton are not. They're not in a real courtroom. There's no such thing as appearing under Rule 20, okay, in a courtroom. Rule 17 is a court rule. Now, you can make a motion called a Rule 17 motion. Look it up, a Rule 17 motion, okay? That's, you put in a Rule 17 motion, you're basically asking the court or the other side to name and reveal who are the real parties and interested in this case, okay? Rule 20 could be called a Rule 20 motion, permissive joinder. So if somebody else has a vested interest in your case, it could be your brother, your sister, it could be the grandmother who usually plays with your child every day. They go bowling together, your kids go to karate class together with the neighbor across the street. So he has a vested interest in wanting to continue his relationship, with your son or daughter. So it's called permissive joinder. So you have to be able to make a showing to the court that this person has enough of a vested right, a continuing right to continue to associate with your child, because it would be a violation of the rights to the freedom of association. Your parental rights haven't been terminated yet, so it's an ex post facto violation. You can't be punished until after you're convicted. The problem is they got you in a civil court instead of a criminal court. That's the big problem. Okay, so pro, keeping you on the same losing path, doing the same stupid shit over and over again to get no results. That's marches, rallies, protests, signing petitions, speaking at county council meetings, speaking at state legislators, speaking to congressmen. Okay, and what now? What next? Where's the goalpost? And see, folks, I want you to realize that none of these people have identified a goal. Where does it end? When do we stop the CPS? When does it stop? How are we going to stop this? When are we going to stop it? What is your plan? All these dummies, they don't have a plan. Okay? Grasshopper, beginner, sovereign, citizen, Tanama Downing, you're a bullshitter. You're a fucking scammer.
You can't mess with people's hope. You cannot take people's hope away.
That he ever said in his legal pleadings is that the court should have never allowed him to proceed pro se. Wow. He actually admitted that the court should have never allowed him to proceed pro se, but he's out here bullshitting the family law people saying, I'm going to represent you in the United States Supreme Court. Guess what, folks? They don't allow pro se litigants to speak before the United States Supreme Court. Okay? And you ain't going to get there. You're not going to get to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court hears about like 1 in 5,000 cases. So that means you have to have a case that lost in the Superior Court. You appeal to the appellate court. You lost at the Court of Appeals. Now you go to the state Supreme Court. You lose there. So now you have to appeal to the federal court in your state, the United States District Court. Like if you're in Washington, California, Oregon, Alaska, whatnot, you're in the Ninth Circuit. So if you lose at the Ninth Circuit, now you can appeal from the Ninth Circuit or whatever circuit that you live in. Now you can appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Only like 1 in 5,000 cases are going to be heard. So he's leading people to believe like, I need donations of money because we're going to serve the Capitol with complaints. Folks, I got a list of at least a dozen names that witnessed Tanama Downing and Jessica Saxton go to Washington, D.C. with boxes and boxes of complaints that they asked for donations of money to serve on people. And guess what? They never fucking served them.
Right.
They got all these people that donate money for making complaints, and they never serve these complaints. Oh, it's on to the next project. Speaking at county council meetings.
Hold on one second.
One meeting.
I gotta go. I got somebody coming to my front door. But I'll catch up with you later. And Darren, I'll call you in a little while.
Okay.
Right,
I'm signing off. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Jeff.
Good night.
Now continue on, Lewis.
Okay. So now it's on to the next thing. Even one of Jessica's videos, she's saying, we really need to move on this county council thing because it's got a lot of traction. She's got a lot of likes. She's got a lot of followers. And they've never seen money get donated so fast by speaking at these county council meetings.
Right.
Okay. And I posted something about it. And some lady wrote on my timeline, Mr. Ewing, at least they have the balls to appear before county council. And I'm laughing. What balls? First of all, I hope Jessica don't have any balls. But
right.
That's besides the point.
This day and age, you never know.
But here's the point. It doesn't take balls to speak at a county council meeting because that's not a court. They don't have the power of arrest. They cannot arrest you.
Right. So there's no penalty.
Court or attempting to practice law, unauthorized practice of law. You appear in court. Okay, they don't have no balls. The worst they could do at a county council meeting is they could say your time to speak is over. They can shut off your microphone. They can tell you to leave the meeting. Otherwise, they're going to trespass you. And you can literally see at the end of some of Jessica's videos, which they very carefully edit. Once you notice, she scurries. She finishes up her speech really fast. And then she runs off because she knows they're about to trespass her from the building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I want you folks to realize this. The county councils have absolutely no authority, no power, no jurisdiction, and no control over the CPS or the court system. Zero. None. So you're in the wrong bat place, at the wrong bat channel, at the wrong bat time, because you're batshit stupid, batshit delusional, batshit crazy, or you're a batshit scammer, fooling everybody into believing that you're in a courtroom. Because all the dummies that are watching, look, Tanama Downing and Jessica, they're standing up to the judges. Look at that. They're in a real, what looks like a real courtroom setting. I want you to look at their videos, folks. It looks like they're in a real court. You think they're before the Court of Appeals, and there's a panel of judges up there. Mm-hmm. I even heard Tanama Downing say, "Yes, Your Honor."
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
That county commissioner is not a fucking judge. Well, who are you trying to fool here? Who are you trying to scam? A county commissioner? You don't say yes, Your Honor. You say yes, Commissioner.
Yep.
He's not a fucking judge. So they're trying to scam people into believing, or fool people into believing they're in a courtroom. Mm-hmm. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge them. Either one of them. Tanama Downing, Jessica Saxton, I'm not really attacking you. I apologize if you think that. I apologize if people think that. But I think it's time for me to start attacking you if you don't change your ways. Because I've already warned you, Rule 17 and Rule 19, that it's incorrect, it's Rule improper for you to go up in front of a county commissioner and say, I'm on here under Rule 17 and Rule 20, and then say, we need to get more parents doing this. You are training parents to teach false legal arguments. You think the court's not going to use it against them? I guarantee you they got a recording of that. They're going to play it to the judge. They're going to play it to the assistant attorney general. The CPS social worker is going to be laughing at it. If you appeared in court, any parent, if you appear in court and say, I'm here under Rule 17, I'm here under Rule 20, the judge is going to order you to sit down, shut up. He's going to appoint counsel on you. He's going to force counsel on you because he's going to deem that you're not competent to represent yourself because you're in court making frivolous arguments. Mm-hmm. He's going to deny your motion, and he's going to force counsel on you whether you like it or not. And you'll be lucky if you don't get sent to a mental hospital for a 14-day psych evaluation because Tanama Downing, I'm sorry to say it, but Jessica, he set you up to look stupid. Tanama Downing set you up, Jessica, to make you look like a fool. And now you're teaching the same bullshit to the parents. You're fucking the parents over, okay? You're giving them false hopes by teaching them false legal arguments. There is no such thing as appearing under Rule 17 or appearing under Rule 20 at a county commissioner meeting, and there's no such thing as appearing under Rule 17 and Rule 20 in a courtroom. Mm-hmm. That's not for the appearances. That's not for the purpose of making an appearance in any court, state or federal. Folks, look those rules up, Rule 17 and Rule 20. It doesn't say anything about appearing in a county council meeting, and it doesn't say anything about appearing in a real courtroom. They made it up. It's total bullshit. It's nonsensical legal gibberish. They're trying to impress you with statutes and court rules to make you think they have some kind of knowledge of the law. Their knowledge of the law is pretend. They're posers. They're pretending to have knowledge of the law. Here's another point I want to make, Darren. You've heard Tanama Downing and Jessica Saxton say, let's just call it what it is, kidnapping. Mm-hmm. They're violating 18 U.S.C. 241 and 18 U.S.C. 242. And then they read you the penalties, jail time and, even punishment by death. Mm-hmm. Are you serious? Are you really think everybody in the family law movement's fucking that stupid? Okay. 18 U.S.C. 241 and 18 U.S.C. 242, folks, I'm going to tell you, it's a secondary offense. It's like putting frosting in the cake can, but you forgot the cake mix. Yeah. You forgot the cake mix. You put the frosting in the cake pan, but you forgot to put the cake mix first. What's the cake mix? Well, what's the underlying statutory violation? Kidnapping? Oh. Let's see if you have the balls to file a real complaint. You guys don't even know how to write a complaint. That's why they had to throw away all those complaints in DC because they knew they couldn't serve them because they knew their complaints were frivolous.
Yeah,
they know
the end. That would be the end. It's over.
They know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They can't say, oh, they're denying our complaints. They're ignoring them because they're so scared of them. No, they're not. They don't have to waste taxpayers' money even reading it. They can throw it in the trash can because his complaints are all frivolous. They don't know how to write a criminal complaint. Mm-hmm. Me, on the other hand, I do. Mm-hmm. I've made my living undercutting attorneys and law firms for the last 25 to 30 years. When somebody gets charged with drug, when somebody gets charged with possessing the marijuana paraphernalia in Colorado, when somebody gets charged with drunk driving in Florida or Oregon or Washington, they send me the traffic tickets. They send me the prosecutor's written complaint or written information. And if they're in a federal court, if you're a January 6th insurrectionist, if you've been charged with trafficking cocaine or transporting 50 kilos of methamphetamine and 70 kilos of cocaine, I have copies of professionally drawn criminal information charging people with felony crimes. I have copies of actual indictments of people who are being prosecuted for felony crimes all over the United States. Okay? You would think that if I have copies of actual prosecutors' complaints from many different states, in state and federal courts, you think I couldn't figure out how to write my own complaint? Because each time a client hires me, first thing I have to do is I have to look up all the statutes they're charged with violating. Okay, that's the first thing I look at. But I also look at the process. What's the requirements for legal pleadings in their state? Because I have to write a motion for your state. And so I read up the legal requirements for writing a legal motion, the legal requirements for writing an affidavit. Every state has their own perjury jurat, and you have to cite their perjury jurat in the exact words that they provide and use their statute number. Okay? And if you don't do that, they can ignore your complaint as though you filed white paper with no ink on it. And that's what Tanawa Downing and Jessica Saxton are doing. They're filing white paper. Their complaints are not even worth the cost of the printer cartridge that it costs to print out their bogus complaints on your printer. It's not even worth the cost of the paper that you got in the reams of paperwork at Office Depot or Staples. You wasted your money. Mm-hmm. What for? They don't know what they're doing because they're not attorneys. They're not lawyers. They're not even paralegals. There's no way somebody who is not a lawyer, who's not an attorney, who's not a paralegal, if you don't have any legal writing skills, there's no way you can lead the way. These people can't lead the way. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it straight out. They're the blind leading the blind and the stupid leading the stupid. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I'm not saying all of you are stupid, but if you're taking legal advice,
none of these parents,
I have to say you're stupid.
Right. These parents are being led on. There's nothing worse than having your kids stripped away from you, having them taken for bogus reasons, having all these lies, and you'll do anything that you can and grab onto anything that you can, any hope that you have possible to try to get your kid back. So what's wrong is these people leading them down the wrong path and taking, because you know what? Some people, that's all they have left in their life is that little bit of hope. And what little bit of hope they have, these people are stripping away from them. And you know what? Tomorrow they might not be here because these people did that. And that is fucking wrong. Period.
That's absolutely wrong. And another thing, folks, I'm not saying that I win every case. I've lost cases. But sets the difference. Here's what sets me apart from everybody else. Instead of boo-hooing and whining that the judges are corrupt, I blame myself. I fucked up. I take accountability for my losses. Okay, and I have lost cases. I admit that. But you know what I do? I get pissed off. I blame myself. I'm thinking to myself, you know, that judge, he beat me. He got over on me. He tricked me somehow. And that prosecutor, him and the judge both ganged up on me. And I know that they, somewhere along the line, they trick-bucked me or I fucked up. I left out something. I didn't follow some court rule that I didn't know about, or I missed something in the local rules. Maybe I forgot to read the local rules. And I tell folks, you got to read your state court rules. Westlaw Publishing publishes state court rules. LexisNexis also publishes court rules for some states. And you also have to look at your local rules. You have to go to your county court where you're at, county superior court, whatnot. They're going to have online somewhere, there's going to be a link where you can download and save down and print out a copy of your local court rules. So whenever you're filing a motion, you have to follow the state court rule and you also have to follow the local court rule. But I blame myself when I lose a case, okay? But so I throw my motions all in the garbage can. I get pissed off. I start over from scratch. I head back to the library and do more research. And I dig and dig and dig until I finally find it. And I go, oh man, this is fucking bullshit. They got over on me. They trick fucked me. So you know what I do? I go hunt for another client. Doesn't matter whether it's a CPS case, drunk driver case, driving without a license, driving spinning. I don't care what kind of case it is. If I lost in that court, I'm going to go find somebody else in that same court that has the exact same violation where they ruled against me and found against me. And I'm going to beat their drunk driving case, beat their drug possession case, or I'm going to beat their CPS case, you know?
Right.
And I do that on purpose, just to rub it in the judge's face, just to rub it in the assistant attorney general's face and the public defenders. I know what you did. I figured out how you trick fucked me, but now I'm going to come back and start slamming your court with the same. I'm going to look for people with the same kind of violations and help them beat their cases too. You fucked me, but I'm going to fuck you 10 times harder.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what I do.
That's freaking great. And that's what we need in this movie. That's what we need, Louis. Someone that's really willing to put their ass out there and do it. And, you know, these people that say, well, he's charging people and whatever, you know what, who cares? You're charging people, but you're giving them a viable product and you're giving them a real thing to hope for. You're giving them a true hope, you know, that at the end of the day, their kid's coming home, because all of these things that are going on out there, these people that are talking about it, they're not giving them, they're like, oh, you hope what, that bill passes. And then next year they do this and they do that. And then somehow it trickles down to you. And finally you get your kid back. You know, they're getting a viable product saying, look, I like these bastards and I'm going to try to win. That's what I want to do. I want to do that for you. I'm not part of them. I'm going to try to win. That's it. And the goal is your kid comes home, period. End of story. I mean, it's not much. How much more forward can you be? So how is that a ripoff? How is that stealing? How is that doing anything? You know, you state everything, your claims up front. This is the way it's going to be. You want this, you pay for it, period. End of story. Because, you know, I used to work in bio recovery, and you know what the first thing, and it really sucked, but what I learned, the number one thing I had to do, everybody wants you when someone commits suicide or it's a death cleanup or whatever. Everybody wants you there right away. Hurry up. It's 24/7 business. They want you there right away. But as soon as you leave, if you don't collect that check, no one wants to pay you. They're done. You're done. Their business is done. You've cleaned up the body. You've disposed of all the bad stuff. No one wants to pay you. I'm sure it's the same with you. Once people are out of court, they got their kids home and everything. Forgot about the lawyer. I'll pay him $50 left for the rest of my life, you know, or something like that, or whatever. You have nothing to hold these people to any longer. If you don't get your money up front, then you need to. Then you've got nothing to hold on to, because they're not like they bought a car that you can repossess. You can't repossess their kid. You know what I mean? So you need to get money up front. So, and the amount that you're looking at charging with your program and everything, that's not shit. That's tiddlywinks for, you know, for someone that's truly fighting to get their kid home. And I can't even believe that people say that stuff, but they do. It's a pack of cigarettes a day, maybe less in some states. You know, if your kid's not worth that. You
know, and to that money charging thing, I get people saying, why haven't you done this before? I said, because everybody says they have no money. Listen, folks, I make my money helping IRS tax cheats. I make my money helping people with drunk driving charges. I make my money with drug dealers. I make my money helping people that are driving while suspended, driving out of license. I make money helping domestic violence victims. Yeah. Okay. A lot of men are falsely accused of domestic violence. I myself have been falsely accused of domestic violence by 3 different women. And I beat 3 different domestic violence charges myself with 3 different women that lied. And I told the jury right in their face, yeah, I did. I slapped her. Okay? But it was like slapping your child. Right. And the ladies would go, what do you mean? I said, well, let me ask you ladies this. And it was funny. This was fucking hilarious. 3 men versus 3 women on all 3 juries. It was like high school. The girls are arguing, a man can't hit a woman. That's not right. And the men will say, well, a woman can hit the man. And the women say, well, you're a man. You're stronger. You can take it. So all the women think they can hit a man and a man can't hit them back. I proved in all 3 instances the woman actually balled up their fist like a man and punched me. Repeated numerous times before I finally couldn't take it anymore. And I reached out and I went on the side of their cheek. Now, I'm a former boxer and kickboxer. Okay, I used to be a sparring partner for Greg DeMont Hagen, former IBF World Lightweight Boxing Champion. Mm-hmm. I trained at the Eagles Boxing Gym for 6 years. I lived with Rocky Mosley Jr., 7th ranked in the world in the WBC as a junior middleweight. His trainer was Eddie Futch, who came to town to train him for a fight because I let his boy Rocky Mosley Jr. That's what he called him. That's my boy. Okay. And I let him live with me rent-free for a whole year on condition that we ran together every day, and he taught me what he knew about boxing and whatnot. Eddie Futz trained me for 6 months. You folks who don't know this, Eddie Futz trained Roberto Duran and Joe Frazier. So I got a little bit of boxing skills. I got one of the best trainers in the world to train me. I also used to train with Maurice Smith, who's the same age as me, 64. From 1980 to when Maurice Smith won his first WTA World Heavyweight Kickboxing Champion title, I trained with him 6 days a week from 1980 to 1994 for 3 to 4 hours a day. Maurice Smith is the longest reigning champion in the sport history of kickboxing. He won the K1 Kickboxing Championship. He won the K2 Kickboxing Championship. He won the UFC 14 and he won the UFC 15. Do you really think that if I hit a woman that she wouldn't be dead or hospitalized?
Right.
You really think I'm a woman beater? Okay, none of these women had a single blemish, no bruised cheek, no swollen cheek, no black eye, no bloody nose, no bloody lip or split lip, nothing. Nothing, zero. In fact, the prosecutor in one of the cases against my ex-wife, I was married once, but I left the country to go to Thailand. I found out she cheated on me. We're going off subject here, but I went to Thailand. I bought a plane ticket. I didn't say goodbye. She got the marriage annulled, which means under the law, I've never been legally married. So I can say I've never been married. But on the day of trial, they're saying, you better plead guilty, Mr. Ewing. We have pictures, of the bruises and whatnot. If the jury sees this, you're gonna get a long jail sentence. They were lying to me. Your Honor, I've been demanding they produce the pictures for the last 6 months, and they refused to produce them. I have a right to see them, don't I? And she said yes. And she ordered them to give me the pictures. I said, Your Honor, may I approach the bench? The jury, may I approach the jury? And I showed them the pictures. I'm like Jerry Spencer, Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey. I like to make a show of everything in the court. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say? A picture speaks 1,000 words. You see these pictures? And they're all looking at the pictures and they're going, she lied to us. She didn't have a black eye. These are pictures the police officers took on the night of the alleged assault, where they charged me with 4th-degree domestic violence. Not a single bruise, not a single blemish. In fact, her makeup was perfect. Her hair was perfect. My ex-wife was so vain, she told the cops she wouldn't let them take her picture until she fixed her hair and did her makeup.
Hey, Louis, I got a question. I got a question for you here. This comes up from one of our people. What do you think of Vincent Davis from Southern California?
I want you to contact Margaret King. I personally think he's a piece of shit. Okay. And Margaret King's doing the research right now. Okay. She got ripped off $75,000 from Vincent Davis. Now, he is a smart man. And he never used to reveal a lot of stuff. Now he's revealing stuff because he's been pressured by Margaret King and others. Like, you're holding back your knowledge. You're not showing us that you even know what you're doing. So he's been revealing more stuff, but he's not winning cases. In fact, if you look it up, Vincent Davis is suing a lot of his own clients. So I'm going to collect a list of all the clients that Vince Davis is suing, which is public record. And I'm going to make a flyer out of it, and I'm going to have Margaret and all her friends handing out my flyer. Look at all the clients Vincent Davis is suing. He sues his own clients. Okay? Let me tell you, folks, on my worst day, drunk off my ass and stoned out of my mind, I could brief circles around Vince Davis or any other fucking attorney that you know. I know that's horrible advertising because people, oh my God, he smokes pot. Oh my God, he drinks a beer.
Right.
Well, do you want somebody who doesn't cuss, who doesn't swear, who's going to be professional, put on a suit and a tie, and listen to everything you have to say, and play you like an accordion and blow smoke up your ass to get your money? Or you rather have somebody tell you the truth? I'm going to tell you shit the way it is, whether you like it or not. Okay? Now, folks, talk about spending money. Okay? Like I said, I made my living undercutting attorneys and lawyers for the last 25 to 30 years. And yeah, people say, yeah, you will charge almost as much as attorneys. And I go, yeah, that's true. But it's not fair to compare just the money because judges don't like pro se litigants. In fact, a lot of judges hate pro se litigants. I have to do 4 to 5 to 10 times the amount of paperwork that any attorney or law firm does to barely get the same stroke. But that's why I'm winning 90 to 95% of my cases at trial or pre-trial. Now, admittedly, I don't do a lot of CPS cases because, like I said, everybody says they don't have any money. And People say, why you shouldn't be helping drug dealers and drunk drivers. You should be helping parents get their kids back. Did you not hear what I said? You said you have no money. You need to do the right thing. I said, I am doing the right thing. I'm paying my rent on time.
Right.
You tell my landlord that I should stop paying rent to work on your case for free. She's going to tell you, fuck you and fuck your kid.
Right.
She wants her rent she rents her rent on time. We live in a cold world, folks. I got to pay my rent just like all the rest of you. I got to pay my electrical bill, my high-speed internet bill, my home phone bill, my cellular bill, my water bill, my sewer bill, my garbage pickup bill. What about gas that I drive? You folks don't know this, but I live out here in Moclips, which is 35 minutes north of Ocean Shores, 10 minutes south of the Quinault Indian Reservation. It's approximately 45 minutes to an hour drive, depending on traffic, from here to the city of Aberdeen, which is another hour from Olympia on Highway 101. So basically, I have to drive 2.5, 3 hours one way to go do research at the Supreme Court Law Library in my state capital in Olympia, Washington. I got to pay $2 an hour parking because there's no place to park close by for free. Okay, the meter maids come by too often. I don't want to keep running out the library every 2 hours to try to move the car because other spots are taken and they chock your tires. Mm-hmm. So I say, fuck it. I can't deal with that because I've gotten tickets before on that. So I just pay I just pay for parking all day long, and then I got to pay 15 cents a page a copy. Now for out-of-state cases, I'll drive another 2 to 3 hours up I-5 from Olympia to Lacey to Tacoma, Federal Way, Burien, Des Moines, Tukwila, and Fife, all the way up to Seattle to the University of Washington Library. Oh, you can't get parking there with all the sorority houses and fraternity houses. It's a madhouse trying to find a parking spot. And so same thing. I'll just pay, I'll pay for the parking and, $2 an hour parking plus and 15 cents a page a copy. And I'll do my research at the law library. But back to the COINTELPRO thing. The Got You group's doing the same thing over and over again. No results. Now, the third thing is if they find somebody with money, they find a rich person, these scammers, they'll glom onto them. They will get them to fund their useless projects. Mm-hmm. And sooner or later, the rich person, the person who has money that could be a threat to the system, that could actually support the cause of fighting CPS and getting our kids back, they get pissed off they're getting used. So they quit the movement. And then nobody else can ever approach them and get any money because they think all of us are scammers. They think everybody out here who's not an attorney, who's not a member of the bar, you must be a scammer. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect example. Look up Marlena's Pizzeria in Holland, Michigan. She got charged. She got charged with running her pizzeria during the pandemic when all the restaurants were ordered to be closed. Mm-hmm. Okay, they arrested her. They shut her down. This goofball sovereign citizen named Rick Martin tried to appear in open court, misquoting case law like all the sovereign citizens do, citing a case called Schwer versus Board of Examiners and another case I forget off the top of my head, but it was complete misquote of the case law. And the judge in Michigan asked him, have you been authorized to practice law by any judge in your state? And when he said no, she ordered the bailiff to take him into custody. He got charged with contempt of court and unauthorized practice of law. It cost Marlena thousands of dollars to bail him out. Now, because of that, and I had people try to approach her and let her know that I could take her case, and she doesn't want to do it unless I'm a member of the state bar. Mm-hmm. And that's how that's what accomplished. So are these people undercover agents? They're steering you back to hiring a state bar attorney, or are they scammers? In either case, you're going to be run back to a state licensed bar attorney. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the number 4 thing, or actually number 5, the last thing COINTELPRO does is they want to discredit a legitimate government fighter. Somebody like Louis Ewing, who's actually has proven results at being successful at fighting government. I will send my list of testimonials showing you guys cases all over the United States have won. Okay. Mm-hmm. You guys don't know this, but I wrote no mask required flyers for all 50 states. And it is because of my no mask required flyers. People say, Mr. Ewing, you can't shut down CPS by yourself. No one man could do it. Well, this one man shut down mask mandates. Arizona, Texas, and Florida, they got rid of their mask mandates within 2 to 3 weeks of my flyers going viral there. One man, I did that. 20 other states, boom, 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 like dominoes, fell. Mm-hmm. As soon as people started handing out my flyers and they realized that I'm the one that stopped Texas, Arizona, and Florida. I did that. Okay. My state health board. Okay. The state health board in my state announced that they were going to implement a new WAC. They were going to introduce a new WAC, Washington Administrative Code, at the next health board meeting that was going to mandate and require that all the children take the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, I had sent out a public disclosure request under our state public disclosure law, RCW 42.56, and I also sent a proposed criminal complaint. Okay, but in that public disclosure request, I asked for a specific list of all the ingredients in the COVID-19 vaccine. My proposed criminal complaint, which I know how to write a criminal complaint, and you folks, nobody ever thought of this, but a vaccine is a drug. Mm-hmm. Guess who has jurisdiction over drugs federally?
DEA?
The DEA.
Right.
The DEA.
Yep.
So I sent the DEA a FOIA request, which is different than the state public disclosure law, similar, but that I gave them a FOIA. I submitted a FOIA using 5 USC 552, 5 USC 552A, and the 1974 Privacy Act, asking them for that same list of ingredients of what's in the COVID vaccine. I also sent them a proposed complaint that listed certain sections of the United States Code that says it's a felony crime if you possess any of the following chemicals. Oops. Oops. I sent that to the DEA, the FBI, the U.S. Marshal's Office, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and to the Postal Fraud Inspector, because they sent these huge boxes of unused COVID-19 vaccines to school districts all over the United States. Now, guess what? I don't know if you guys remember reading about this, but Pfizer, Gavi, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca, it was in every major newspaper nationwide. They dumped millions of dollars of unused COVID-19 vaccines in the landfills, in the garbage dump. But they didn't put my name on none of that. Okay? They're not going to give me credit for that. I'm also the man who stopped Boeing. Yeah. One man right here, drinking a Corona and smoking a pot pipe. I beat the largest aerospace corporation in the world, the Boeing Corporation, and I forced the Boeing Corporation to publicly announce they were no longer going to enforce the Joe Biden vaccine mandates long before the U.S. Supreme Court made their ruling. Now, how did I do that? I got some salespeople up in Snohomish County, in Linwood area, Everett area. They don't want their names mentioned because they don't want any kind of heat from the government. Okay? I'm the frontline guy. Okay? But they got over 5,000 Boeing employees to make a donation to me. And of course, I made thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. You know, I organized over 60 school districts here in Washington. We have 295 school districts here in Washington. And the Washington State Association of School Board Directors, they wrote a letter and they sent it out to all 295 school districts, specifically telling them that if they get one of my public disclosure requests, that they are to immediately contact their legal counsel. Well, at that next health board meeting, the Washington State Health Board, can you believe this? Like literally 2 weeks after they got my public disclosure request, at the next health board meeting, well, you know, we really care about your children. We decided to take a vote, and in the best interest of the children, oh God, I hate the way they use that word, the best interest of the children, we decided we're going to wait until the Washington State Legislature actually passes a statute authorizing COVID-19 vaccines to be mandated. Oh, whoa, you just admitted to your lie?
Right.
A couple months earlier, you said that you had a WAC and you were going to roll it out the next health meeting, and you were going to mandate all children take the COVID-19 vaccine without a law being passed first. Now, part of my RCW 4256 public disclosure request cited the specific statute in the Washington Administrative Code that says they can't implement a WAC until the legislature first passes an RCW statute. Every statute has to have an implementing regulation. They can't enforce the implementing regulation by itself. They have to have a statute to implement first. Now, some statutes are self-executing, but these ones aren't. In some cases, and depending what state you're in, some statutes are self-executing all by themselves. But in a lot of states, I've got case law that says the statute is incomplete without the regulation, and the regulation is incomplete without the statute. You have to have both.
Okay.
Okay, and all the lawyers are jealous in Washington. All the bar attorneys, they're pissed off. All the parents are asking them, well, how come the Washington State Association of School Board Directors never wrote a letter like this for you guys? And you guys are members of the bar. Mr. Ewing's not even a member of the bar. And he's getting these kind of results, and all the attorneys are jealous. They hate me. They make fun of them.
How can you, Lewis? So there's your proof, folks. There it is. That's why one man can take down CPS, and that guy's going to be Lewis Ewing, right? Lewis, we are way past our time here, brother. Thank you for coming in tonight. I'm glad that we could air some of this out, and I hope that people are paying attention and listening. And, you guys can email him. I put it up here. It is, what is your email again, Lewis? I put it up here somewhere.
rcwcodebusters@gmail.com, AOL.com, Yahoo.com, and protonmail.com. RCWCODEBUSTER. RCW Codebuster. One last point. I want everybody to go look at the latest video by Jessica Saxton, which proves that she is just as incompetent and ignorant as the law as all of you. She attempted a phone call. I'm trying to report a crime to the FBI. Hopefully, we're gonna find an FBI agent who's honest, who's gonna take my complaint, and I'm gonna start Operation Greylord 2.0. She even had the nerve to write that on her own Facebook page that she's gonna do Operation Greylord 2.0. Hashtag on her own page. Like, are you kidding? This lady can't even beat a parking ticket. There's no way in hell she's going to do Operation Greylord, and she just proved it to all of you because she doesn't know how to file a complaint with the FBI, and she videotaped proof of her incompetency. Go watch that latest video. That's proof she cannot lead the way. She can't even file a complaint with the FBI properly. She's just as soft as all of you folks, period.
There you have it, guys. Don't let them strip your hope away. Lewis, thank you for coming in, brother. I'll talk to you very soon. You're the man, buddy. Way, brother.
Right, talk to you later.
Lead the
Take
way.
care of me. All right, bye-bye.
Like it or not, guys. That's the piece of the future right there. Believe it or not. That's it.
CPS snake stealing in the night. Family broken, but we plan to fight. Apos and secrets with ice in our vein. YouTube dropping bomb, breaking chains. Giving more pressure, we won't fall here. Just a rum to make them disappear. Tiff and The Punisher hit it. Fighting for freedom, they can't hold us back. Abolish CPS, catch it again. Exploding the truth in the trap of a time. Pump it up, pump it up. Pump it up, pump it up. Punisher roll, D-tip never crack. Punisher and beast motive, calling shots, hitting off hard, connecting the dots. Kid trapped in system, parents in despair, but with the underground, breathing rare air. Perk loading up like clips in the mag, abolishing evil, wave the black flag. Slow down the vibe, but the fire stay lit. Victory creeping, feel the trap hit. Tiff and The Punisher hit it. Fighting for freedom, they can't hold us back. Abolish CPS, that's just gang. Exploding the truth in the trap of a time. Pump it up, gas. Pump it up, pump it up. Punisher rolls, D-tip never crack. Hit the gas. Justice in the trap. Gas. Deep and dark, no escape right here. Tipping phones to the street, Punisher bring the fear. Family rising, system crumbling down. Trap justice burning, claim the crime. Pump it up, hold up, hit it. Pump it up, hold up, hit it. Pump it up, hold up, hit it. Pump it up, gas. Tiff and The Punisher hit it. Fighting for freedom, they can't hold us back. Abolish CPS, cause it got gang. Exploding the truth in the trap of attack. Pump it up, gas.
They said don't fight the system. They said stay quiet.
They were wrong. Lock in. We are exposing what so many have failed to. We are going to show you what bar attorneys have hidden from all of us. Hundreds of thousands of children and twice that of parents have been lied to and walked down the road of termination. It's the death penalty. We're all of the protesters, the ones who fight for the rights of prisoners, dogs, illegal immigrants. Why aren't you coming to the aid of our children and families? Right here in America, every day a child per minute is kidnapped.
And no one cares. We fight alone until today. CPS Punishers mount up. Here comes the CPS Punisher.
Anonymous tip, another lie from one of them. No warrant, no proof, just a badge and a grin. Stealing kids like trophies, thinking they'll win. Mama crying on the porch, daddy in the cage. System wrote the script, but the CPS Punisher just flipped the page. The educator they banned, I see every violation, every forged line, every ex-part hearing, every stolen time. One tap of the app and the truth ignites. Welcome to the CPS Punisher, now we can fight.
CPS and the courts have lied to us all.
The courts will not disgrace the family. CPS Punisher.
Here to avoid the chains and expose the game.
CPS Punisher.
The educator they never wanted you to find.
Punisher.
One tap and their empire cracks. We re-rise, we take our kids back. The app is called the CPS Punisher. I'm the cape in the shadows, the skull in the night, the binder full of secrets, the weapons you all need. Ab initio, watch me void that lie. Fourth Amendment armor, watch the tyrants cry. Falsified drug test gone in a flash. I see Tebio, warrior, due process king. Every parent hero when the hotline rings. I call it justice. Download the truth, now the system busts us. From the courtroom to the streets, hear the battle cry. The CPS Punishers arrive. Kiss your bar asses goodbye. They tried to silence us, now we're the loudest voice in the room.
CPS Punisher.
Here to avoid the chains and expose the game.
CPS Punisher.
The educator they never wanted you to find.
Punisher.
The children never leave again. Families rise, we never look back. We now use the CPS Punisher. This ain't revenge. This is reunification. This ain't rage. This is resurrection. Open the app. Step into the fight. You ready?
CPS Punisher.
The app you need when they took your kid.
CPS Punisher.
The truth they hid, now the truth gets lit.
Punisher.
Download the power, take back the throne.
Punisher.
You're never alone. CPS Punisher. The educator they never wanted you to find. Void complete. Family restored. The bar is finished. The Constitution will prevail. Judges do what's right. Treason is your penalty.
CPS Punisher.
Here comes the CPS Punisher.
We know it's all about the money. We know they lie. We know this is corruption. Does CPS know what they are doing to the children?